Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live with another quote-unquote weapons optimization guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at the MG36 and a light machine gun that you unlock right out of the gates at level 4. It does have a 100 round ammo capacity in its magazine clip or drum, whichever one you prefer, which is pretty much on par with all the other light machine guns. It does have a fire rate of 769 rounds per minute, and the damage is 40 up close and 25 at a distance. So you're going to be killing in 3 to 4 shots respectively, which is pretty much on par with all the other light machine guns, aside from the N60, which is a bit more powerful, and the LSW, which is weaker. The aim down sights time is fairly average at about 0.38 seconds, while the reload time, if you're just going to be adding ammo onto it, it's going to be at about 3.73 seconds, a little under 4 seconds, while if it's completely empty, you're going to be looking at about 4.53 seconds, which is fairly standard for a light machine gun. As for the intangibles, I did notice that the iron sights are a little bit obtrusive. It does encompass a quite substantial part of the screen while you're aiming down the sights. And while the actual reticle is a bit awkward with it being like an H bar shape, which I really don't enjoy using, the recoil is such that you really don't need to be exactly be precise with this weapon. The recoil is fairly substantial, but it does fire in a way where it just makes a bit of a circle around where you're aiming at. So really, this is just a point, shoot, and hope for the best kind of gun, and I treated it as such. And unfortunately, there wasn't that many different varieties that I could use this weapon, and I only found up with 2 classes that I found were very well done for this type of gun. The first one being just a straight up assault rifle type class. This is the kind of weapon that class you're going to be right up in the mix, right up on the front lines. And there's really no other way to use this class. You're going to start off with using kick as your proficiency. For your attachment, you're going to be using rapid fire. Even though it does have a fairly standard rate of fire, using rapid fire for some reason alongside kick, it keeps the bullets flying so quickly and such on target that you could just go full auto and you feel very comfortable using it. As for the perks, the first one is blind eye. I find myself not really needing scavenger too much. I mean, it is a 100 round clip. You do have plenty of ammo for about 1.5 more magazines. And so you're gonna be killing around 8 to 9 if you manage to survive that long. So really, you don't really need scavenger. Sleight of hand, I mean, it does reload fairly quickly. So sleight of hand is out of the question. Anything else you really don't need out of the first perk option. For the second one, I found myself using quick draw. It's just because you're gonna be up on the front lines, you just want to be able to snap on your target that much faster. You can choose hardline, but again, you're gonna be at the front lines. You want to be able to just point and shoot. For the third perk, it's obviously gonna be stalker. You can use steady aim, but I found myself leaning towards stalker a bit more, since I just find myself wishing I had that stalker option instead of that steady aim. Now, for something completely different from that first class, for the class that I just mentioned, will be more of a support class. Now, the attachments and the proficiencies you can kind of switch up a little bit. But what I found myself using the most, and one that I enjoyed the most, was 2x attachment, silencer, and rapid fire. The silencer kind of just keeps the flash down on the weapon, while rapid fire just keeps churning out those bullets. Now, it may seem like an odd choice, but when you figure out, when you listen to what kind of perks I chose, it'll kind of make sense a little bit more. For my first perk, I ended up using Recon. Recon Pro is it basically means with Recon Pro, any kind of damage you do to your enemy, they're going to light up on the screen. And since you're in a support class, this is very useful for your teammates. So, even though you don't have that much damage and you're just spraying bullets all over the place, hitting those enemies 1, 2, 3 enemies without getting a kill, it is okay, since they're going to be lit up on your minimap for your teammates just to finish them off. For my second perk, I find myself using Hardline. You're not really going to be at the front lines. You're not going to be in the thick of things. You're going to be standing back a little bit more. So you're just going to be walking around, aiming down sights a little bit more, and you're not just going to be snapping back and forth on target. The idea is to just paint the enemy and not get yourself into a firefight where you know you're going to lose. For my third perk, I found myself using sit rep. Now the reason being was just to spot off any kind of claymores, or if there's an enemy care package that's booby trapped, or IMFs, or anything of that nature. You just take them out before they get a chance to just do damage to your teammates. A couple with an EMP grenade and a launcher, a grenade launcher of some sort, a grenade launcher or a launcher of some sort. You'll be able to take out those claymores, bouncing betties, or anything that your enemy lays down. So that's it. You can switch up the attachments. Just scotch. You can just go rapid fire grip. That's pretty much the same thing as rapid fire kick. So that's it. The attachment you can kind of switch up a little bit for the support class. The perks are where they're at. There is an interesting choice that you can do, where for the assault class you can use kick with ACOG, or ACOG with a silencer, but on that one you just really need to master the recoil and just stagger your shots very, very well. It is a little bit difficult to get used to, but once you do, it is fairly fun to use. So keep that in mind while you're playing around with this weapon. I know I did. I enjoyed myself. I had fun with it, even though it was a bit frustrating at times. But that's it for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave a comment down below on what I could do to make these more enjoyable for you. Also, leave a comment down below on if there's a certain weapon you want me to do next. I know I've gotten a couple of suggestions, so I'm going to take my pick out of all those. Or if a certain comment or weapon gets a certain amount of thumbs up, I'll go ahead and do that one. So that's it. I'm going to get on out of here. Later, guys.